Boys, welcome! We're back today with the inaugural 2025 beginner motorcycle tier list. No need for too much preamble. I've chosen about a dozen or so beginner bikes and we're going to talk about them by rank. Simple enough, let's get started. So, per usual, let's start off with F tier bikes. Luckily, beginner motorcycles are pretty darn good these days, so there are very few bikes I've selected for these lowly ranks. Plus, you guys seem to think I'm too cynical or too negative sometimes, so we're going to focus on more of the best bikes in the category and less on the more poor offerings. We've actually only got one bike in the F tier today, and that is the Honda CBR 500R. We've been here before. You know how I feel about the CBR 500R. Is it a fine bike? Sure, it's got two wheels, it's got a motor, it's a Honda, they put winglets on it now, but is it really the best buy for a new rider? Not really. The 471cc parallel twin makes like 47 horsepower, which is right in that A2 compliant range, but the CBR 500R starts to look like a bad buy when you consider the weight and the price. It weighs 421 pounds, which is about 50 pounds heavier than the other bikes on this list, and it has an MSRP of $7,400. That's before tax, title, license, and all those nasty dealer fees, which is quite a lot of coin for a beginner bike. No, that's all I'm gonna say about it. CBR 500R, F tier, lowest rank, moving on. Now we're in the E tier. E tier beginner bikes. There's plenty of bikes I could harp on and lump into the E tier, but we're trying to keep it light and positive. So I'm only gonna put one bike in the E tier ranking, and it may not be what you're thinking. The only bike to live in the E tier today is the Kawasaki ZX4R. Whoa, can you believe it? Come on, Yam, hear me out. Look, the ZX4R is a really neat bike. It's a high revving, small displacement inline four that provides all the fun of winding out a 600 while staying within safer speeds. You get that screaming 4-cylinder sound and the top end rush. Lots of fun, but despite its 399cc displacement, in my opinion, it's not an optimal beginner bike. Its low torque, high revving engine architecture isn't super conducive to most average street riding, and the high cost makes it more appropriate for an enthusiast who really knows what they want and what they're doing, compared to a beginner who's just feeling everything out for the first time. ZX4R, really cool bike, kinda niche, and for the right rider, an awesome bag of fun. But for a beginner, we're gonna call it E tier. It's a little expensive and a little too weird. Moving on to D tier. Again, we've only got one bike in this spot. The only motorcycle in our beginner bike D tier is the Yamaha R3. The R3 is a good motorcycle. If you're a new rider and you find a nice used R3, you're gonna have a great time. For a long time, the R3 was one of the best beginner bikes in the category, and the performance was right on par with the competition. But today, there's been a lot of advancement in the category, and the R3 is feeling a little outgunned. The 321cc parallel twin is down a little in cubes than much of the competition these days, and it just makes it feel a little last gen. If the R3 stayed the same but cost $5 grand even, it could be cool. But when compared to the Ninja 500, the RC390, or the 450SS, it's a little left in the dust. Subjectively, it's a great bike, and I started my riding journey on one 10 years ago. Objectively, it's a little outpaced nowadays, so unfortunately, it's D tier. All right, C tier on the list. From here on out, all of the bikes are solid, so you don't have to worry too much, but I know you guys want to get the S tier bikes. But some of the ones that occupy the more elite ranks are just going to be a little bit more goated than others. The first bike in C tier is the Honda CB500X. Well, I guess Honda calls it the NX500 now. And the NX500 is a really neat do-it-all machine and really works with that engine rather than the CBR 500R. It really is kind of a 300 IQ type of bike. It's not flashy, it ain't particularly cool, it's kind of a dorkmobile, but it's super practical and approachable and a great buy. While your motorcycle was in the garage getting covered in farkles, my NX500 was out mastering throttle control and the blade. Now you've crashed your 600 and you're scared to ride again and you have the nerve to come to me for help? The only reason it lands in the C tier is because it's a little plain Jane. The NX500 is Honda's entry-level sport touring, adventure-ish, but not really type of bike. It uses the 500cc twin from the CBR and the Rebel, which is good for a little under 50 horsepower. I guess it's 471cc's if we're gonna be pedantic. It's got comfortable and agreeable ergonomics, a windscreen, plenty of room for luggage to store all of your bits and bobs. And while it really is a Sigma brain motorcycle eschewing all superficial pursuits, it does lack a bit of emotional appeal, and it's a little pricey, coming in at $7,000 bucks, which leaves it in the C rank. But again, Compare that price to the CBR we talked about in the F tier, look how much more bike you're getting. In the C tier, we're also going to drop in all of KTM's 390 lines and the Huskies, unfortunately. Again, these are really sweet bikes. I've had a lot of experience with the Duke, the RC390s, and the Husqvarnas, the Svartpilen 401s, which I used to rank as an S tier bike, but now it's C tier. And the new range of ADV, Enduro, and Supermoto offerings look pretty sweet as well, but look, being KTM, there's always a little bit of a question of reliability, and to be honest, we don't even know what the company's gonna look like in the next few years, so it's hard for me to recommend a KTM or Husqvarna product right now, so I had to drop it down into the C tier, although the riding experience themselves is S tier. These bikes are super fun to ride, but they may blow up. And last in the C tier, we've got the CF Moto 450SS. The CF Moto 450SS is a perfectly serviceable beginner bike, and so all the 450SS stands need to calm down. C isn't bad, it's perfectly average. The 450SS is CF Moto's entry-level sport bike, and it's been a nice addition to the segment. It's got a neat 270-degree parallel twin, which is cool for the category. It's got a lot of premium tech and farkles to really drive home the value. It finds itself in the C tier because there are still some questions about longevity and dealer access, as CF Moto is newer to the motorcycle space here in America. I've honestly yet to hear anyone have significant issues with these bikes, but you never know with new platforms. So it's a C tier. Average, doing great, and a bike you will enjoy. Moving on. All right, now we're on to the B tier. The first bike to live in this tier is the lovable Ninja 400/500. The 400 is an absolute gem of a beginner sport bike, but now it's so ubiquitous, it's kind of uninteresting at this point. Don't get me wrong, if you want to be a baby squid, maybe try out some track riding, it is really hard to go wrong with an affordable used Ninja 400. But if you were to spend $7,500 out the door for a brand new Ninja 500 ABS SE, there's probably better ways to spend your money. The Ninja 400 platform is tried and true, but now in 2025, with the latest 500 update, the Ninja is a little too bare bones. It's a little too basic feeling to warrant the price tag on a brand new model. A used Ninja 400 for like $4,000, in my opinion, is more of an S tier move, but averaging it out with the brand new Ninja 500 that has an MSRP of $6,500, it comes out to just a B tier bike. Alongside the Ninja 400/500 in the B tier is the Yamaha MT-07. The MT-07 is a great bike, there's no doubt about that. It's one of those machines that really any rider can swing a leg over and have some fun regardless of their experience level. But at around 75 horsepower and 50 foot-pounds of torque, the MT-07 is a little bit spicy for some beginners. We qualify it as a beginner plus motorcycle. A little bit more experience, a little bit older, a little bit more of a cool head on your shoulders, you should be good. But due to the power output and price tag, it's hard to say that it's the best beginner bike option for most, if not all, riders. But generally speaking, an MT-07 is a great buy. It's approachable enough for a new rider, and with some patience, and fun and exciting enough to warrant a spot in your garage for at least a couple of seasons. MT-07 is B tier. We, of course, love Rockform for their rock-solid phone cases and motorcycle handlebar mounts, but they keep adding more and more new accessories that allow you to capitalize and expand on your existing setup. With a Rockform phone case in hand, you can attach it to a mount on your bike, on the dash of your car, and now even on a camera tripod. As more and more people get into motorcycle content creation, the Rockform tripod mount is a super convenient piece of kit. The 1/4-inch threads attached to any standard camera tripod, and the magnetic phone attachment allows you to super quickly attach your phone to get the perfect shot. The base of the mount is magnetic as well, so you can quickly slap the mount onto a metal surface, snap your phone onto the other side, and set up a shot without even having to use a tripod. Rockform has an astounding track record for high build quality and rugged durability, and this mount is no different. With a super strong magnet, especially paired with a Rockform case, you know your phone isn't going to budge. Rockform's been a long-time Yamanoo partner, and their support is invaluable. If you enjoy your existing Rockform products and have an interest in using your phone for photography or video, click the link below and check out the tripod mount. Yamanoo viewers get 25% discount as well if you use the code YN25. So hit that link in the description, use that code YN25 for 25% off. Thanks so much to Rockform for the support. Now let's get back to the show. All right, now we're on to the A-tier beginner bikes, the real cream of the crop. You know what they say, the cream always rises to the crop, and these A-tier bikes are just brimming with cream. And the first bike in the A-tier mixes a little espresso and cream. It's the Aprilia RS457. Aprilia set out to make the most premium, highly equipped, small displacement sport bike on the market, and in my opinion, boy, they hit the nail right on the head. Aprilia pretty much took everything we already loved about the RS660 and then just kind of scaled it down and hit it with a shrink ray to make it into an A2 compliant sport bike. It uses a 270-degree parallel twin as the engine, which is a nice addition to the small displacement twin category, which is notoriously sleepy. The 457 also uses a true aluminum twin spar frame, which is also a novelty in this category. If you guys saw my giveaway on this bike last year, you know that I waxed poetic about it because it's a lot of fun. You can find some pretty high-tech features for a beginner bike like ride modes, adjustable TC, and switchable rear ABS. The RS457 is probably why the Ninja 400/500 has been bumped into the B tier, and by comparison, the RS457 is so premium with the fit and finish that's basically unmatched in the category and warrants the extra price point. A tier beginner bike for sure. I'd also like to point out that the RS457 is cheaper than that Honda CBR 500R. So yeah. Another A-tier bike is the Honda CRF 300L Rally. I've talked about this bike a ton and it really is so good. If there were a single beginner bike from Honda I'd recommend, it's the 300 Rally. Honda's CRF 300 platform and the 250 that came before it are lovable, fun, approachable bikes that pretty much anyone can enjoy. The Rally trim bumps up the touring capabilities by way of wind protection, a larger fuel tank, and just lets you do anything. The CRF 300L Rally gives you opportunity to have fun exploring different types of riding with ease. A dual sport is great for bopping around town, commuting in urban areas where you might have to deal with potholes or other hazards. It's lightweight enough to where you drop it, it's gonna be fine to pick up, and it's easy to pick up too. The CRF Rally has a reasonably low seat height as well, so pretty much anyone can ride it, and if you can put up with the looks, it's pretty cool. You can also explore some gravel back roads, try your hand at some light off-roading, and even dabble in some light touring action if you want. The CRF 300L Rally is super versatile and really fun, and it's bulletproof. You're gonna love this bike, trust me. It's a motorcycle I wish I started on. That's how much I love it. And like that, we have made it to the illustrious S-tier rank of beginner motorcycles. The first S-tier bike we're gonna put on the list is the Triumph Speed 400. Look, you guys know I'm a longtime Triumph simp, and when Triumph hit the ground running with these new 400cc beginner bikes, I was sold from the get-go. The Speed 400 platform is what we love about Triumph's classic retro bikes and scales it down to an approachable and affordable pint-sized package. I had the chance to get some hands-on time riding the Speed 400, and I was really impressed with how Triumph managed to create such an affordable bike that still captured the charm and charisma of a flagship Triumph Modern Classic. The Speed 400 comes in at just a little over $5,000 MSRP, which is wild considering how much value this bike provides. You look at this motorcycle and tell me it costs a little over $5,000 bucks. No chance. There's also the Scrambler 400 variant, which is a little bit more rugged and a little bit bigger if you have a predilection for playing in the sandbox. The Triumph 400s have become the new gold standard for beginner bikes in the modern era, in my opinion. Well equipped, fun, cool, and incredibly affordable. S-tier bike, no doubt. To round out this beginner bike ranking, we must give credit where credit is due. The last S-tier beginner motorcycle is, of course, the Turbo Hayabusa, baby. Just kidding, but this bike does hail from the land of Suzuki. We're talking about the SV650. Come on, folks. The SV650's always been goated, but now that they're really showing their age, the value's only getting stronger. For $6,000, you can get a beginner bike and an intermediate bike all in one. Buy an SV650 and you can learn to ride, grow your skills, have fun, take it on track, use it to commute, put a windscreen on it, buy some luggage, use it to tour. It really is the Swiss Army knife of street-going motorcycles. They're bulletproof, super easy to find, and provide so much value. We've said it before, I don't know if I'll ever say otherwise, but the SV650 really is an S-tier beginner motorcycle, and the more time that passes, the more you realize just how great they are. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you're a new rider, let me know what bike you're shopping for this spring and summer. There's a ton of great beginner bikes out there, so a lot of them didn't make it to the list today. Let me know what bikes I missed down in the comments section. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all later. Fact: Exoplanet HD 189733b, about 64 light years away, has winds of over 5,400 miles per hour and rain made of molten silicate glass that falls sideways due to extreme speeds. Goodbye. I'm like a bird, I wanna fly away. I don't know where my soul is. I don't know where my home is. Da 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 da. I'm like a bird, I wanna fly away. I don't know where my soul is. Oh, hey. You're still here. Man, this is awkward. You should, you should keep watching Yami Noob.